Well, hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Amazing Seller Podcast. This is episode number 335, and today I am excited. I'm actually beyond excited because I have a special past guest coming on the show today. He's actually someone that's in our private label classroom. He's also someone that's been at 2 of our live events. And we are going to be hearing about what's been going on since selling. And you guys may remember me having him on a past show, which was actually episode 259. And his name is Jarret Colton. And he's just a great guy, but he was starting from literally scratch, from nothing. And I remember in Denver when we were there, I believe it was in April. I can't even keep my times straight here, but I think it was in April in Denver, and we had an event there called TAS Breakthrough Live, and he attended, and he was also in our class at that time, but he was a little overwhelmed, a little confused, didn't know really where to go from there. He had all the pieces, just didn't know how to put them all together. He didn't have the roadmap, if you will, and after attending there, meeting people there at the event, some of them were inside the class as well, and he was able to take that and start growing it and start launching products, a bunch of products, not just one product. And he talks all about that on episode 259, and he talks about how he went from $0 to $20,000 a month. Then from there, he went on to do $40,000 a month. And he went on from there to do over $100,000 a month in fourth quarter. And then he started feeling some of these challenges, these growing pains. And some of us would be saying like, well, what kind of growing pains could there be? I mean, you're doing that kind of revenue. Like, man, I wish I had those problems. And you're right. We always kind of say to ourselves like, man, if I could just get to 10 sales a day, I would be so excited. That would be awesome. And you're right, it would be. But then you're kind of raising the bar up a little bit, right? And then there's other challenges that come in. Now, all of a sudden, you got more SKUs to manage. You've got more inventory to keep in stock and all of those things. And you might have been able to go through fourth quarter and go, holy crap, what just happened? Our sales went through the roof, which his did. He was at, I think, $40,000 in revenue. And he was totally happy with that. He was just like so jacked up, and he kept emailing me and saying, Scott, I can't believe this. This is awesome. And then it just started taking off, and he was doing it was just over $100,000 in December, I believe it was. And even in November, he was starting to really climb. But then what happened is January came and his sales started to drop. And well, then in February, they started to drop. So right now he's rated about $45,000 in revenue. So he went from 100 back down. But again, we can get spoiled a little bit when we start to have those numbers because you all of a sudden expect that to happen all the time. And fourth quarter is a whole nother animal, and you guys probably know that. And if you don't, you're brand new. Fourth quarter is like the busiest time of the year for most markets, just about every market. Sales volume is just going to be higher. But the other problem is he started running out of inventory in some of his top sellers. So even if he had his top sellers in stock like right now, his numbers would probably be up even higher, maybe $60,000. So it wouldn't be as bad. But there's a lot of different challenges along the way. And I wanted to have Jarret back on because I wanted to kind of dig into some of these growing pains. And he was actually at our recent live event in Arizona. And that was really for him to figure out how to take your products and services or whatever you're selling and start to get outside traffic. And that's something he's currently still working on. And we talked a great deal about that on this episode, but we also talked about all of the challenges and growing pains along the way. So I wanted to take you on this little journey with me and with him so you can kind of see exactly what it's like and then also prepare for these things in the future. So I'm really excited to share this conversation that I had with my good friend Jarret. I think you're going to get a ton of value from this. The show notes to this episode, you're probably going to want to go check those out because we will have everything transcribed for you. Any links that we have will be there as well. And that's theamazingseller.com/335. All right. And you can grab all the show notes there, past episode that he was on, and all of that good stuff. And before we do jump into today's episode, I did want to give you guys a little bit of an announcement. I know a lot of people right now either are new listeners or maybe have been listening for 12 months or 18 months, and you still have not gotten started. And I know this because we opened up a beta group called the 1K Fast Track, and it's really designed to get people started. And I have people in that class right now that before they joined that class, They said, Scott, I've been listening for 12 months. I'm just nervous. I just don't want to pull the trigger on a private label product right now, but I want to get started. I want to start selling on Amazon, or I want to start selling online in some way. And that's where we created the 1K Fast Track. And we're about to open that up right now to another small group. We're going to keep it closed again after we fill just about 100 spots. We're going to keep it really, really small. We had it 50 spots before just to kind of test it out, make sure that everything was being taught correctly, but then also we can make improvements and all of that stuff. But we are going to be opening that up, and that is going to be opening very, very soon. So if you want to get notified when that does open and maybe grab a spot, you can head over to 1kfasttrack.com. All the details will be over there, and you can get on that notification list. If you go over there after March or whatever time of the year it is, it may or may not be open, okay? Because we are going to be opening it and then closing it, because once we fill those spots, we will be closing it and then teaching it, and then after the 5 or 6 weeks, we will then be reopening it again. All right, so definitely go check that out if you're new, or if you're just in that state of, I don't know where to start because I'm nervous, I'm scared, I don't want a private label maybe right now. I want to start off by just finding products and flipping them and going down that road. And that is what the 1K Fast Track is created and designed for. So definitely go check that out. All right, guys. So I'm going to stop talking so you guys can enjoy this awesome, amazing interview that I did with my good friend, Jarret. So sit back, relax, enjoy, and learn, and get out there and take action. Well, hey, Jarret, thank you so much for coming back on the show. How you doing, man?
I'm great, Scott. How are you?
I am doing well now that we finally got a time here together so we can finally match up. I know that we've been kind of playing a little bit of phone tag back and forth, but we finally got you back on the show, so I'm excited to have you back on. So, yeah, I want to dig into the aftermath of this fourth quarter for you. It's been a couple months now since fourth quarter. Actually, it's been, 3 now? Really? Well, yeah, 3.5, I guess. So why don't you tell us a little bit about what's been going on since fourth quarter? I mean, if you can kind of wrap it up quickly, and then we can dig into some different things.
Yeah. Well, let me spend 2 seconds on the lead up. So we launched in June, and we had a really nice build right from the start. We got to June, July, August, September was October, nice increases. And then all of a sudden November came and we 3x'd it. And then December came and we virtually doubled it again. So the fourth quarter was, I don't know, I felt like we were walking on water a little bit. It was a little too good to be true. And then came January when somebody basically shut the tap off. And we went from, we did about 120,000 in December. We ended January about 45,000. So it was, now that is unbelievable. And I would have never, ever thought that that's what we were going to be doing 6 months ago. But after December and after November, it was a little deflating. And February was also not great. I think we ended a little bit around 40,000 in February. Again, amazing. And I feel so like silly saying that I'm disappointed. Like, honestly, if someone told me, hey, you're going to do $40,000 in February of next year, I would have did a dance. So I need to keep everything in perspective, but it's been amazing.
Yeah, no, I want to just go back quick to episode 252. That's the one I had you on. And, I had the title of that episode for anyone that wants to go back and listen. That was how Jarret went from confused to 20,000 in sales on Amazon. And basically what we meant by that is you came to our Denver event in, was that 2015 or 16?
I think it was April of 16.
Oh, it was April. Okay. Yeah. Gosh, I can't keep track of these dates, but yeah. So, and at that point in time, you were just you had everything kind of dialed in, you thought, and then you went there a little bit confused, and then you kind of got everything sorted out, and then you went off to launch. You launched. You were doing up to $20,000 in sales. You were blown away. I remember you emailing me like, "This is crazy. This is awesome," and now you're complaining because you made 40.
I love it. I don't want to say I'm complaining.
No, I know. I'm just playing with you. Yeah, I'm just busting on you. No, but I mean, I think people need to understand too. It's like whenever you get to a certain point, there's always more, especially once you've had that crazy fourth quarter round, right? I mean, if you didn't have fourth quarter, you would just be thinking, okay, I went 20, I went to 30, I went to 40. Now I'm staying at 40 for a little while. I get it. Now I want to try to get to 50. But you went from like 20, maybe 30, 40-ish, and then you all of a sudden jump to 100,000+, and you're like, holy crap, like what is going on here? This is insane. And then afterwards in January, it kind of went backwards. And I think that that's normal for a lot of people, especially depending on the items that you're selling. But again, I think right now too, just to kind of let people know, one of your issues is why your numbers are down is you're out of some of your top selling SKUs, right?
Yeah, so that's my fault. So basically, what ended up happening was, of course, we had no idea what we were doing, no idea how to plan for what was about to happen. Went into the fourth quarter, basically telling my wife that we were going to have a problem because we had too much inventory. And then mid-December came, and this was interesting. I remember the day where all of a sudden, December 13th, my sales started going backwards. Like that was our peak. And I remember I couldn't figure out what was going on, and legitimately, and we have a lot of SKUs because we have parents and we have lots of children underneath it. So there are a lot of SKUs. And basically from December 13th, it went straight down. And I could not figure it out until actually Sean, who I met out in Denver, said to me, "How you doing with your stockouts?" And I was like, huh. And I took a look, and sure enough, on that day, I was able to see that we progressively went out of stock. And when I say we have a lot of SKUs, we have about 100. So it's not that easy to track them all.
Yeah.
So we literally went out of stock then. We got a reorder in December, in January, and we're out again. We're out of the top 18 items. So that is not good. But again, talking about the struggles, like this is like, I guess, good problems to have.
It is. And, it's like we were talking a little bit before we got on here. Every stage of business, there's a new challenge ahead, right? It's just like one of those things. And I said to you, well, at least you're not saying to me, Scott, how do I get more sales? Because, I'm struggling to move product. You're moving product. You just don't have the product in stock to move all of the product, but you still have product in, and you're still doing 40 with the inventory that you have. But that is an issue. And I was talking to you as well about like how long it's generally taking you. And you were telling me, it's taking sometimes close to 5-6 months from the time you get it, because now you're doing, sea shipping and all of that stuff. And one thing that we mentioned, and maybe you can talk a little bit about this, is maybe in the future, you split that up and maybe you do a partial air, even though you're going to spend a little bit more money, and then have the rest come by boat. Is that something that you're considering doing? Yeah,
it's actually kind of funny because at the end of the year, I sat with my accountant, and I look at the numbers and I try to track everything. It's pretty dizzying to keep track of everything. But I sat with my accountant, and he looks at me and he said, "You have got to stop airing product." And we had been doing some split shipments. We had been airing. I mean, a couple times before Thanksgiving, we were desperate. We FedExed 50 boxes, which wasn't fun. But other than that, our freight forwarder does take care of that. And so, but we will split ship some things. And about a month ago, when the factory said, this product, or 5 or 6 weeks, the factory said, okay, everything's ready. I initially told them to split it up, and I knew I was going to be out of stock. And then I just had my accountant in the back of my head saying, stop airing. So I made the terrible mistake of listening to him. And now we're out of stock. But you know what? I need to be more disciplined. I think I need to take this pain right now to be more disciplined in my ordering, because honestly, the margins are not tremendous. So if I could say, it cost me about $1 extra to get it here by air.
Okay.
So that's a lot of money.
Yeah. No, it is. But it's also a lot of money. You're not selling any product right now, right?
Yes.
So tell your accountant that I need to talk to him.
Yes, or maybe I need a new accountant that understands this business.
Yeah, well, yeah. If he understood this business, he'd be like, Jarret, you got to get some product in there, because you're losing velocity, you're losing rankings right now. Not that you can't get it back in, because when you ran out, you're probably doing really well. Like, I get that, but right now, every day you don't have stock in, you are technically losing money. So whether you could make $10 or $9, I'd rather make the 9.
Right.
You know what I mean?
By the way, just to tell you, I'm not just losing money. I'm losing my marbles. Like I am, it's because I question it. Is it the inventory or is it me? Is it the product? Is it? Yep. So it's not good for my mental health.
Yeah. Okay. Now that's a lot of SKUs. That's a lot of SKUs, number one. And like you said, so how many parent SKUs would you say you have? Because I don't want people to think you have like all these individuals as far as like individual products. They add up when you do different either colors or sizes or any of that stuff. Like we all know, if you're selling anything that comes in those different variations, they can add up in a hurry. You can have, heck, you could have 10 different variations of colors. If you, were selling a garlic press with 10 different style colors, you could have those. So what's it look like? Like how many parent items do you have currently right now?
We started with 6 parents, and in November we added another, 6. So today we have 12. Okay. And then there are multiple SKUs underneath each one.
Gotcha.
We also have one unique SKU that doesn't have any children, which we were talking about earlier, which is our more expensive item.
Yeah. And okay, was that the one that you were telling me too, that you were kind of all nervous when you got it and you're like, oh my gosh, am I ever going to move this? Was that the one or was that something else?
That was it. So basically,
tell me about that, or tell everyone listening about that. Cause I think it's interesting for you to be like sitting there going like, what did I do? I can just see you right now with your hands on your face in your garage going like, what the heck did you do? Like, what did you do?
So basically, my wife is the one that really like tries to, she's the one running all this and about it. I guess it was almost a year ago. I said, what about this? I see this in stores. It looks kind of interesting. There's not that many on Amazon. So she said, oh, okay. It's kind of, it is an extension of what we're doing. It also is 8 times the price. So that was something and probably many, many times heavier. But in any case, so we started developing this product. We found a factory. We developed it. It was a massive struggle. We were probably delayed 6 months launching it. We needed to pass some regulations for lead and some other things. We failed, not on the lead, but on some other things. So it took us another 2 months to fix that, and it was not fun. And then the stuff shows up in my garage, and 300 units equaled about 7 pallets of product.
Wow.
And when that truck was unloading them one by one, I don't think I had an appreciation for what it was going to be and how much it was going to be. And when they unloaded that, I was so angry because at that point there was a lot more competition. Mm-hmm. And I couldn't even move the stuff around. Each item was well over 10 pounds. So it was a struggle to move the stuff around. I had no room in my garage. I couldn't sort it. It was a disaster. In any case, I told my wife, that's it. You're not ordering this again. I can't deal with this. And then we ended up getting the product into Amazon, and the way, we had to split it. I think it was 7. I think each pallet had to basically go to what maybe one had 2. Roughly each pallet went to its own Amazon warehouse, and it was staggered. It really took a long time to get into the different warehouses. And as each one got into the warehouse, we sold out within 24 hours.
That is
now,
insane.
I have to tell you that this is a brand new item. We had 0 reviews. We had nothing but a very, in my opinion, an optimized listing. We had great photography. I follow everything that you preach. And literally, they blew out within 24 hours. So we sold those 300 units in roughly, they weren't consecutive because it took a little time to get into the warehouses. In about 5 days, we sold out. And we're talking about $100 items. Wow. So it was a.
And what month was that in, Jarret?
That was December.
Okay. So that was in December, fourth quarter again. Okay, let me ask you this though. Let me dig into this a little bit because I want to unpack exactly what happened here. Okay, and we could probably have you on a whole another episode to talk about that whole back and forth, getting things tested, dealing with the manufacturers and all that stuff. Because I think that'd be an interesting topic. Yep. But we don't have time today for that. But what I want to do, I want to dig into what you actually did while you were waiting for that stuff to come. Did you build out your listing? Did you load it with bullets? Did you basically get it optimized before you were in? stock. Take me through the process to get everything ready. So when you had the product, you were able to send it in and then immediately start getting sales. Like just kind of lead me up to that point.
So, months before the product arrived here, we had been working on the photography. And when we do photography, we do photography. We have multiple people on set. We have we have a photographer that really knows what he's doing. He could do lifestyle shots. He could do stills. He could do lots of different things. And so we spend a lot of money on images. So we did that. And what we also did was we mixed in the images, we mixed in our other products.
Oh, okay.
So we almost used our other products as props in the back of this listing, in the back of the photography, or the images. So we did that. We did tons and tons of, keyword analysis and research and, following everything that we always talk about. And yes, by the time those items got to Amazon, the listings were completely done, probably a month before they got to Amazon. And you had
competition. Like you had competition.
And that's the thing that really, that's, I think what gave me the negative taste as I'm lugging these things around my garage was that when we had decided to pull the trigger, I think there was one other item, and it was I don't even know if I knew about Jungle Scout back then. So I just saw they had a lot of reviews and it looked like it was doing pretty well. And it was a larger company selling it. So I kind of felt like, let's try. Mm-hmm. And we did not just do a Me Too product. We customized it quite a bit. So it works with our brand, but
where did you get the ideas to customize it? I'm interested in that.
Where do you think? Exactly what you said to do. I
didn't even set you up for that. I didn't even set you up. I was literally asking him, like, do you have something that I don't know?
No, I went through all of the reviews.
Wow.
I went through all the negative reviews. And every single thing that people had a problem with, we took into consideration.
Wow. Okay.
We added a lot of value.
Okay.
We added a lot of value in lots of different areas. And then we also, it's a similar item to the other one, but it's not the same item.
Gotcha.
You're probably not buying both of them, but you know what I'm saying? You wouldn't confuse the two. Mm-hmm. It was really personalized for the brand.
Okay. I just think it's really awesome that you literally didn't even really use a tool for this. You just kind of like seen something that could be used in your brand, but yet wasn't directly. And then you're like, it kind of looked interesting. You started doing a little bit of research and started reaching out to your sourcing and then went through that whole process. And that was a little bit of a pain. But again, if it's going to be a pain to do, I've always said that, then it's going to be a pain for a lot of other people to do. And they probably won't follow through with it all the way to the end, or they'll cut corners.
Yep.
So you actually did go through there, but again, you still have that negative, you have that doubt in your head. You're like, what did I do? I've got all of these pallets. Right. Like, what am I going to do with these things? I mean, I got to get them in there, but they're not, what if they don't sell?
Well, and to answer your question, so you asked me about the competition. So by the time those pallets were clogging up my garage, it went from one to, there are dozens and dozens of other people selling very, very similar items. Now, they're not exactly the same, obviously, because we personalized it, but most of them are not. They're not the same quality. The photography is not as good. The listings aren't as good. I don't know what it is. I find it really, it's a mystery to me how we just put it up there, and it just started selling, and it never stopped. And the funny thing is, I guess something happens with Amazon when someone purchases and the payment doesn't go through, and then all of a sudden, because we've been out of stock for months, but every once in a while one will come back up, the listing will come back up and there'll be one available, and they're not returned, so I don't know what they are. But in any case, when we do that, again, it's gone within hours of the listing going back up.
Wow.
So it's and now we have 25, 30 reviews. They're all positive, and all we did was we used SalesBacker to go out and just make sure people are happy.
Nice. I love it. there's no there's no high level strategy here or a quick shortcut. It's like the basics, and you did a really good job at the basics. Like you didn't cut corners on pictures, you didn't cut corners on the listing. You had everything optimized, and I think that's key. But you also had a good product because you took the time to really make it a better product by looking at all of the negative reviews and seeing what people were complaining about. I think it's really awesome that you actually did it that way without really saying like I have to heavily discount it or I have to do a big promo, especially because it's a more expensive product. It's over $100, right? It's $100 plus.
It slightly under, but
Okay.
It's about $100. But we didn't give away one item.
Crazy.
No, not one discount code even.
Right. And that's just insane. No reviews. You start selling, and you sold all of those out. Now, where are you at with that product now? Is it on reorder? Like where are you at with that?
It is on reorder. Chinese New Year got us a little bit lopsided in terms of how long it's going to take.
And that's a heavy unit, you said?
Oh God, yeah. It's like 18 pounds, I think.
Wow. Okay. Is it oversized too?
Oh, it's huge.
Okay.
It's big. It's oversized. It's expensive. It's all of the things that I was trying to avoid in the beginning. But in any case, we have a lot on order. We're about to place another order even before these come in, because I was a little bit concerned about what's going to happen. Maybe it was just because of Christmas. You know what? We'll sell them, and if worst case scenario, we'll sell them at our cost. We're good. We're gonna keep going. We're gonna keep just focusing on trying to sell some product.
Yeah, no, that's I love that. Let me just dig into the photography real quick though. Okay,
Yep.
What are you generally paying for a good photographer for you personally? Like, what are you willing to pay because you know the value in it?
So if we're gonna do a photo shoot, the photographer helps us find like a space, but it could be any space because it's we put up white around, so
Sure.
It's not like we're and then we sometimes we'll have people in the
Sure.
images.
Yep.
I think we might pay $1,500 for a photo shoot.
Okay, and I was expecting that, honestly. I wasn't expecting you to say like $300-$400 because you're not just you're going high level here.
But the thing I would say is that when we do it, it's a full day, and we're not just shooting one product.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like we're shooting many products. So for example, so we added we had the 6 parents when we started. We added 6 parents in November, as I said. Each one of those 6 was one photo shoot.
Yeah. So you can kind of divide that up by 6 then, technically.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So then it would come out to the $300, $400, $500, whatever it is. But
Yep.
you've kind of utilized that day.
That's right.
And is that full of or is that including edits and all that stuff?
That's including yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's
And
not
to be
bad.
very honest,
That's
I
not
think we
bad.
I think we get a good deal.
No, I do. I mean, an ex-photographer myself, I know that, my wife and I, for an hour, session, we were charging anywhere between $400 and $500 for an hour.
Yep.
That's, and that's just, we would take pictures for that hour. We would do edits, probably take us another hour. So 2 hours. And we were getting between $400 and $500, for
Yep.
those. If we were going longer, then we would charge, more for the day. And that was going back 12 years ago now. So, obviously, things go up as
Yes.
inflation and all that stuff. But no, I think that's really good. Now, did you just find a local photographer?
It was somebody I knew somebody who knew.
Okay.
It was through a connection
Okay.
that we.
But it's
we
local.
ended up
Someone
doing.
you're able to meet somewhere locally.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, that would be. For me, I need to. I need to be hands on.
Yep. Okay. So you're the director on set.
I am the director on set, right?
No, it sounds like you're doing well with the setup of the products and stuff. So that's awesome. So I just wanted to dig into that too, because I know a lot of people don't realize that, images definitely give you that perceived value. They also show the product being used. And I think also what you've mentioned here, which I think people should really take into consideration, is if you have other products that relate to it, try to use those products in some of those other images, either in the background or as a prop, because now it also brings people, aware of the other products that you have, because now it's like your full suite of products.
That's exactly.
I think that's really cool. Okay, so right now where you're at, okay, like right now, like what is your biggest problem right now? I think I know the answer, but what is your biggest issue right now where you sit today, that you would say, if we could get that figured out, everything would be smooth sailing?
Well, I have a list. So
give me your top. Come on, give me your top.
So I think that, ever since the Arizona event, I've been really trying to focus on external traffic and building a list.
Yep.
I think that I hear loud and clear that we need to diversify the stream of revenue. So we are trying really hard to create a customer list, our own customer list. So we're trying to do it through numerous ways. We're running some contests, doing some giveaways.
I want to mention that real quick. So basically, you left the Arizona event, and just to kind of catch people up if they're new or they haven't been listening to the show that long, but we had a live event in Arizona. Jarret was one of the 25 that attended day 2, and that day 2 was really all about building your external channel and doing these type of list building activities. One of them is doing a giveaway for products that are related to your product, and then building an email list. And you've actually took what you learned there that day, and you set up a contest or a giveaway, and a pretty good size one too. I think your giveaway prize is like $500. You said, right?
It is,
which is pretty crazy. But you just put it up there, and you weren't going to really run any external traffic right away. You just wanted to get it built. You kind of built it. You let it sit there, and then you told me before we got on here that you built, or that list is already up to about 400 or 500 emails, and you didn't do anything.
Right. So basically, it's crazy. So listen, we're using King Sumo to run it, which is I think what you had suggested.
Yep.
And King Sumo is not a difficult product to use to set it up, but for some reason I just felt like it was like I was looking at the Great Wall of China. I didn't know where to look first, even though I don't think it's that complicated. It's me. But anyway, we got it set up, and then the next step was trying to find influencers to help us get the word out there. So as I'm in the process to find influencers and feeling slightly overwhelmed at that challenge, all of a sudden I remember one day I look and I get a notification. You have because it's hooked up through Aweber, so sure. Aweber sends me a notification whenever someone signs up, and I said, "Oh my goodness, somebody just signed up for the contest!" And it was almost like dominoes after that. That person must have shared it, and someone must have shared it, and then within 2 weeks we have, it's a little over 400 people have signed up. And we, as I was telling you earlier, we are now working with what I think is our number one target demographic. There's an online magazine / newsletter that we're now advertising, and we're about to launch with the contest ad soon. So I'm hoping to drive some traffic. But in the interim, I could not believe that we started getting people to sign up without doing a thing. Now, the interesting thing is, so my initial reaction, because I'm a pessimist, was that these are only like people looking to win a contest, and they're going to try to sell the product off, and they don't care, and it's a waste of my time. Sure. But what ended up happening was, at the same time, we did have a Facebook page with, I think, 1 like on it. And that might have been my sister-in-law, and
right.
And because we haven't really started to focus on that yet, and all of a sudden we started to get likes on the Facebook page, and I think we have a little over 100 likes on the Facebook page now. To most people, maybe that sounds like nothing, but from 0 to 100, we didn't promote the page at all. And I'm convinced that the people saw the contest, wanted to maybe know a little bit more about us, and then they went and liked the page. So you know what? Even if I got 100, if 25, 30% of those people, and I actually think it's more, are real customers, I mean, it's pretty amazing.
No, it really is. And, I love it that you said, like, you're kind of skeptical, right, about these things. Like, well, everyone signing up is, they're just looking for something free, and then they're going to sell it. And there may be some of them. You absolutely are right there. But I think also, and you and I kind of identified this before we got on, we had like a little coaching session before you got on, which I love doing that anyway. But I think we also identified that possibly this giveaway might not be 100% the best one. We're going to still let it run its course, but I think we can do better with actually your product and doing a bundle with using your product. And then on the back end, it'll be so much easier to sell that. And then that question of, are these people really interested in what we have to offer? It's kind of like I talk about, like, the fishing market. If you wanted to go after a fishing market or the fishing market with tackle box that you sell, you would probably want to sell off, or you'd probably want to raffle off some type of fishing poles and maybe some tackle and stuff like that. And then that they're definitely in that market. And I always talk about people doing giveaways to review groups, which you shouldn't be anymore. But if you are, you're basically just giving your product away at a discount to people that just want a discount on your product. So for me, I'd rather kind of recruit those people and have them raise their hand that say, I am interested in this market. Yes, I'm signing up because I want to receive something for free, but I'm in this market. I'd rather target those people than the people that are just saying, I want to get a discount on product. That's my philosophy, my belief now moving forward. And we've had numerous amounts of success doing this. And I was mentioning to this before we got on, there's a brand I'm working with right now, which I'm super excited about. And I think it's going to be amazing. I can't wait to share more on it. But we built an email list of I think the last I looked, just about 5,000 emails in 30 days. And, we're giving away about $175 prize, but it's very, very related to the products that we're going to be selling. We aren't even selling the products yet. They're still in development, but we're building the email list so we can launch those products once we get them. Which is, pretty much, how you go about doing this. So again, I think one of your biggest issues, I think what you're saying is you don't want to rely on Amazon. Am I true in saying that?
I think that is very high up on our list of potential problems.
Yeah,
yes.
And I think your products, though, definitely lend themselves to building that external channel and then driving paid traffic through that funnel that we talked about in Arizona, about creating that funnel. And I think you could take 3 or 5 of your top selling products and create an amazing funnel. And then, like we said, drive Facebook ads to that funnel. And then once you dial that in, then it's a matter of, okay, I put $1 in, I get 3 out. Then you're controlling the traffic, you're controlling the sales, and you're not necessarily relying on Amazon. But we could always push them to Amazon if we want to. That's the beautiful thing.
Yep.
Okay, so and anyone that's listening, if you guys wanted to actually see exactly how that whole thing works, we actually did a free workshop on that. It's theamazingseller.com/build list, and it kind of walks you through that. And Jarret, we actually took some feedback from you guys at that live event. We're probably going to create some type of free resource that actually shows you how to set up those different moving pieces behind the scenes. We're probably going to do that even for free, just like a little mini course. Mm-hmm. And then that way there, it'll help people get through those stages that you kind of had to muscle your way through. Because again, I mean, we are affiliates for like ConvertKit. King Sumo, we are, but technically, and just to kind of let the cat out of the bag, we're actually in the process right now of creating our own giveaway plugin, which Jarret, you will be getting a copy of that if you want to check it out. But yeah, and we're going to actually create stuff that will actually be useful so you can set all this stuff up. Because I know it's a little bit of a pain if you've never done it. Once you get it, it's super simple.
Right.
Right.
And that's honestly, like, I think a plugin would be amazing. I think that looking at it from scratch for me was, again, I felt like I was reading Chinese, like, and I'm just, I don't know. It took me a while, but so a plugin would be amazing. Yeah,
and one of those things that you said, I think it was even at the event, which again, we want all that feedback always. We're always learning on how we can make it better. And you were like, okay, I've got all this. This is great. I want to go out there and do it, but now I need to see exactly how to click this and move this and add this. And that was one big takeaway that we found from doing that live event. So probably at our next live event, we'll probably do like even a half a day where we just actually build it like right in front of you. And I think that would be helpful because I get it, right? I mean, we were trying to do so much in that one day and cover all of the different aspects, but there's so many moving parts, but once you get it, once you dial it in, it's set up. Like right now, you've got it all set up. Now you just got to drive traffic, right? So now you're going to do that ad spot that you're going to do, and they've got an email list of like 30,000 people, and then they're going to drive it to that landing page that you've created, and now you're just going to start collecting the emails. And then in the back end, we can monetize that later.
Yes, I'm going to worry about what to do with the emails when I have a little bit more. That's up on my. I got to figure that out too.
Yeah, and then maybe you can mention really quickly too, and you don't have to mention the person's name, but how that kind of happened, where an influencer, a pretty successful person, you found using your product, and they didn't give you credit for it, but they were using it, and now that might be a possible connection. Can you talk about that quick?
Yeah. So actually, this past weekend, I was out with my son, and my wife sent me a message, and she said she named this person who is a very well-known TV personality, or reality TV personality.
Okay.
And this person posted a video, like a 40 or 50 second video of her child using one of our products. And
it's awesome.
It was actually pretty unbelievable. I was floored by it. And yeah, so I think now what we have to do is maybe reach out to this person and, just see if they'll be willing to get some more products, or, for free, and do something for us, to maybe help us out. I don't know exactly how to go about that, but definitely an opportunity.
Yeah, that's a great opportunity. Here's one thing that just came to mind as you were talking here, and that's kind of how things happen for me. And they just kind of come to mind when I'm talking about this stuff. But have you thought about taking a picture of that she posted and then putting it in either your Amazon listing somewhere, or maybe even using it on your website and saying, our products have been used by, whatever, TV personalities such as, and then you can list that?
I don't know. Is that legal?
I don't see why not. It's posted publicly, isn't it? You might want to look into it, but it's an idea, because it was posted publicly on their blog or on their Facebook page, and technically that stuff is public. Just an idea, because now you can say, it's been seen, by this, so and so. You see that all the time. If someone's posted in Forbes or some type of popular magazine, they'll say, also seen in, or something like that, or, used by. But I would definitely reach out to that person for sure.
Yep.
And I wouldn't do it just once. I would try to find ways to get to them, whether it's on their Facebook page, on their blog, and just try to get their attention. And then, like I said to you, I would offer to give them, free product, and just maybe have a mention, or being able to use them as, a mini spokesperson, in a sense, to where you can say, hey, my product's also used by this. And then that gives you just that credibility.
Yes, that is definitely on the list, that we're going to reach out to her, and we're going to see how we could potentially work together. I think it could be really great.
Yeah. Okay. So wrapping up here real quick, what, at this point in time, do you feel you are still wanting to launch more products, or you want to get the products that you have in kind of dialed in, inventory wise and all that stuff? Like, where are you at?
So we like being over our heads.
You're speaking for your wife too?
Right. So if we're status quo, then we're going backwards. And it's funny. I think about this quite a bit, and I know it sounds maybe a little campy, but the whole, take action, move forward. This is our mantra. And because, I've thought about, and I've maybe tried to do lots of things over the past bunch of years. And lots of times when it gets a little bit difficult, it's just been very easy to stop doing it. And I can tell you that we're just looking to keep moving forward. So yes, I think, we're having some struggles. Inventory management is a massive struggle. But we're still we're adding more products. We are hoping to, this is going to sound crazy, but almost triple the number of products we have. I'm hoping by August.
Wow.
So
that does sound crazy, by the way.
It sounds like I need to.
You aren't just thinking that. I'm going to let you know that does sound a little crazy, but right. I'm not saying don't do it.
Right. So listen. Here's the way I look at it. I think that I want to start testing things. I think that there is no such even a product that doesn't sell as well as we're thinking can be liquidated. We've seen that. We've seen that, if we hold it till the fourth quarter and just discount it severely, even, to our cost, it can be liquidated. So, we were using things like that to adjust some inventory. But in any case, so we are adding lots more products. We are extending the products. And, we were mentioning this before. I am a huge proponent of creating a brand, not creating a product. So everything we're doing is something that lives under the umbrella of the brand and can be used by the same person or purchased by the same person. And I mean, I might be crazy, but we don't look at Jungle Scout. We don't look at all of that stuff. I mean, we'll look at listings and we'll look at competition, but what we try to do is we try to look at the competition and figure out just how are we going to leapfrog them? How are we going to do it better? How is it going to fit within our brand? And try to sell multiple items to the same person.
Well, yeah, and I think you're at that level though, right? You're at the level now where you're staying within your market, within your brand, so it becomes almost easier in a sense because you don't necessarily look at the numbers. You're like, listen, if I'm building an e-commerce store, this product has to go in our brand. Yes. So we're just going to naturally launch it on Amazon because it's the easiest route to get it launched. But then we're also going to have it for sale eventually on our own platform and our own brand, and that's really how you're thinking about it, which is
exactly
smart.
That's exactly right. I mean, I think that obviously to start, you need to look at all of those things. You don't want to make a costly error, but once you know the market and you have, I think that a lot of our success also comes from the fact that there is an identity to this. There's a life to the brand. It's not just some, static thing. I think that when people are, get involved and purchase products and we put them through the email sequence and in our listings, I think they're able to sort of identify with this, that this is a brand. You know what I'm saying? Like it's so there's a voice to it, and all that stuff is, put a lot of care into that.
I love it. I love it. No, man, this has been awesome. But like I said, we're going to have to probably get you back on to talk a little bit about the product sourcing end of it and kind of making all those modifications and stuff. I think that would be an interesting topic to dig into, especially because you went through it. There was a lot of struggles, but at the end of the day, you created a very unique product. And I think that it's something to be proud of too, that you created something that's unique to the marketplace, but it's a spin off of something else. You just made it better by listening to people that bought something similar, that they said, hey, I want this. And you're like, okay, cool. I'll give it to you.
There's just let me leave you with one thought. There's nothing worse than having a whole bunch of products sitting on a loading dock in China to only hear that you failed testing. And then everything has to be opened and corrected, and that was not fun. But we got through it. Yeah,
no, I think you're right. I mean, you will get through it. You just have to keep pushing forward, and you're going to have days that's not easy, and days that it's like, holy crap, is this really happening? This is awesome. But that's business, and that's what we signed up for when we got into this type of business, especially in a physical products business. One last thing though, and we should probably talk about this another time as well. Is there anything in your space that could potentially be like a digital product? Again, I'm just thinking off the top of my head. Is there something you think that could possibly be a digital product that could also be served to your market? I'm just curious.
That is something I think about all the time, to be very honest with you. Everyone talks about ClickFunnels these days, and I struggle to understand exactly how I can use ClickFunnels with a physical product. But again, I'm not worrying about that at the moment. But in terms of digital products, it's something on my mind all the time. I would love to maybe chat through that with you at another time, because there are things, I think, again, there are so many different places to go and take this thing. It's like, it's hard for me to keep my brain focused on anything. But
I understand.
But yeah, I actually think that there could be some opportunity. And I just, Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, because I've got a few ideas, actually. We could definitely talk about that off air sometime. But yeah, there's definitely some room there for that. I even have another idea for a physical product for you. And again, I'll share that another time with you. But yeah, there's definitely a huge amount of growth for you still, and you're crushing it right now. So I just want to say, man, I'm proud of you. I think what you've done is just simply amazing. I remember having that conversation in the lobby or in Denver, and you were just like, yeah, man, I'm just, I'm getting ready to do this thing, and I'm a little nervous, but we're gonna go for it. And that was before you had anything launched, and here you are talking about doing $100,000+ in 1 month, and now you're complaining because you're doing 40. Just saying.
I'm not complaining, I swear.
No, I know. No, I think it's funny. But all right, man. So is there anything you want to just give people, maybe last little bits of advice before we wrap up this call? I know there's probably a ton, but maybe just one thing you can give people to walk away with that might be just either sitting on the fence or just getting started.
Listen, I think that the number one thing for me that gets me, things don't make or break the business in one day. And I think you have to be able to look further than that and just keep pushing, because like you said, there are some days or months where I feel like we're walking on water and there's nothing, and all of a sudden I'm the guy that figured out Amazon. And then there are some months that I just feel like it's much more of a struggle, and we just keep looking forward. And I think that that's the number one reason that we are having this conversation. I think that, listening to you, I think I mentioned this on the last podcast. I legitimately feel like I have this like little Scott on my shoulder, and he's like, just keep going, take action. And it sounds so silly, but honestly, that's kind of what gets me through a lot of the struggle. And you talk about this a lot. The events that you have hosted have been more beneficial to me than anything else. But the number one takeaway from those events was actually the people that we've met. Mm-hmm. So we talked about the Armstrongs earlier. Sean, I don't think I would be talking to you if me and Sean hadn't become so close from the first event. So all of those, like that, you need someone that you can bounce ideas off of, that knows the product you're selling. So you trust this person. So you could actually really dive into, challenges and opportunities. And that's been so key.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree. And again, events are really big. The good, I would say like good, small, intimate ones for me personally. I know you can do that still at bigger ones. I've attended bigger ones and I've attended smaller ones. And I do better at smaller events, more workshop-y, but then where you can actually network with the people a little bit more. But all it takes is that one or two connections, and I think you and Sean have really created a nice relationship, and I think even just everyone from that event or those events, actually, because you've been to both, you kind of have this little sense of internal community that you can always reach out to. And there's a level of trust. Oh yeah,
it's really been invaluable to me.
Yeah, no, I agree. All right, man. So I'm gonna let you go so you can figure out your inventory stuff, and also just work on your business, because you guys are doing well. And I just want to say again, thank you so much for taking time out of your day. I know that you're a busy guy, and just wanted to again say thank you for sharing, because I know people, they want to hear the ups and the downs. They don't want to just hear like you're doing awesome, right? You did 100,000. I'm not going to feel sorry for you, but in the same breath, you are still struggling in your own right now with certain things in the business. It's not terrible, but there are ups and downs as you grow. So I just want to say again, Jarret, I really do appreciate you, and I'm sure we'll be in touch, brother.
Thank you. I really appreciate everything, Scott.
Okay, so there you have it. Another great interview, conversation. It was just awesome, and I could sit there and talk about this stuff for hours and hours, but I did want to keep it to our at least an hour or less, if at all possible. And sometimes that's a challenge, I got to be honest, because we can just keep going down different paths of this journey, because there's so many different things that happen as you start to go through it. So I just did want to remind you about the show notes. If you guys wanted to download the show notes, the transcripts, and all of the goodies that we talked about here, head over to theamazingseller.com/335. And the one thing I really want you to take away from today's show is that we all start at zero, right? We all start at the beginning, but my job is to try to get you to the start line. And if I can get you to the start line and then I can get you across the start line, now we're in motion, okay? And now we can start to adjust as we start to get these results. Again, Jarret, going all the way back to when he came to our Denver event, had no product, had nothing. He had an idea. And then from there, He went on to launch it and then several products, as you've heard. And now he's dealing with different challenges because he's growing. And again, these are challenges that will be in any business that you run, whether it's this business or any other business. It's part of the process, all right? But again, getting started is usually the hardest part. So I did want to remind you one more time, if you're interested at all in checking out our 1K Fast Track program, which is really designed to get you started. I mean, really, really fast. Literally, in 5 to 6 weeks, we want you to be selling on a regular basis, and not necessarily where you're sourcing your product. It's really where you're sourcing product from your local retail stores and also like liquidation centers and stuff like that, where you can buy product low and flip it and make the profit on the back end. And we talk all about that in the 1K Fast Track. We actually did a pre-challenge before the class even opened, and our students inside there, our beta group, generated over $3,500 in the first 7 days, which is just insane. So if you're interested, like I said, definitely go over and check that out. And there you can get all the details and you can jump on that early notification list. So this way here, when we do make the announcement that we're open, you get the first shot at getting in. Just to let you know, the last time we did this, we opened it up to 50 people for the beta group, and we filled those 50 spots in literally 6 minutes. And that's no joke. And the people that are in there that are taking action are getting results, which is really what we created the class for. So definitely go check that out. So that's it, guys. That's pretty much going to wrap up this episode. I want to remind you one more time that I'm here for you. I believe in you and I am rooting for you, but you have to, come on, say it with me, say it loud, say it proud, take action. Have an awesome, amazing day, and I'll see you right back here on the next episode.